Hi, my name is Katie McKee, and I am the PR manager for LCTV Club here at Moyne College, along with my other PR manager who's behind the camera right now, Kara. Um, and we are going to be talking about life at Moyne on our first episode, Back on the Heights. With me is...
Hi, my name is Lily Christopher. I am a junior here at Moyne studying communications.
Hi, my name's Richard. I'm a transfer student, junior, and a communications major.
I'm David Kleberg, and I'm a freshman communications major as well.
And I'm an accounting major and a sophomore. And now I'm going to turn it over to our president, Destiny, who is in the control room. She's going to be moderating the comments on the live stream, as well as asking us questions and answering some comments. Hey, Destiny.
Hey, guys.
Okay, so what topics I want to start off first is basically talking about dorming versus commuting life. Personally, I am staying at the Heights right now. It's on campus. But next year, spring semester, I'm going to be studying abroad in Ireland, which I'm really, really excited for. And Lily, I heard that you were studying abroad.
That's right, going all the way to London this summer.
Oh, that's so fun. Yeah, no, I plan on going and trying to see as much of Europe as possible over while I'm in Ireland. So I heard the public transportation's nice. So tell me a little bit more about it.
I loved my time there. The public transportation was great. I used an Oyster card, which you add swipes on it, and it takes you all the way around the cities. You save a lot versus taking taxis and Ubers. I loved it so much I didn't want to come back. It was such a great experience. You got to see different landmarks, a different culture. What's nice about it is that you feel like you actually live there. You're not on a trip. You get to experience life as a local and being part of that community. And it's just anyone who gets the opportunity or who has the opportunity in front of them should do it. It might sound scary at first, but you'll never regret it or take it for granted because you'll just be so happy you did it. If you do this and go overseas, it feels like you could set your mind to do anything you try.
Yeah, no, I am definitely a little bit scared to kind of be going head first into a whole different country with no one else around me, but I definitely relate to the feeling like a local. I'm super excited to just kind of live in Ireland for a whole semester. I think it's 4 months or so. So did you stay with a host family? Did you stay did you go to one of the colleges and stay in a dorm or an apartment?
Yes, I did the program through a satellite program of Moyne. The building was the Vega building. The program was AIFS, Study Abroad through Fairfield. I lived in the city, but I didn't stay with a host family. They had student apartments, so it technically was part of school, the living, but it wasn't. You lived in an apartment, but it was technically affiliated with the school, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, because I know that was one of the options, but then I was also do I want to live with a host family? Because that's a whole different vibe. That's I feel like if I went that route, I would be living more like a local, because I feel like if you live in a dorm or an apartment on campus, you're living more like a college student, and I feel like life would be the same or similar as to like life here, but also on the weekends, like you can just go out and explore Europe and stuff.
Yes, you could definitely explore on the weekends. I definitely explored a lot during the week too. You definitely, even in a dorm room or an apartment, could make the most of a different experience, because yes, you still are in a dorm room, but I never went back to my dorm room after class, which is kind of bad. For like hours and hours after class, I would walk around, explore, go to places with some of my roommates. So even though you are in a dorm room, you still get to experience a lot, just still an apartment.
That's so exciting. I'm so excited, and I was so excited to hear about your experience in London. But where are you living now?
Right now, I'm back in Syracuse, so definitely a little bit more local than
Yeah.
London. I'm living back in Harrison and
Okay.
liking it. My second year there. Feels like I've lived there for like 15 years, but it's great.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you. You're studying abroad. I think you're
Yeah.
gonna love it. But very exciting coming your way. Wish I could do it all over again.
Yeah. And do you guys live on campus, or do you guys commute?
Well, I also live on campus. I have for the past 1.5 semesters by now. I live in St. Mary's, and I do live in a single because I just figured it was best for my own like circumstances
Yeah.
and so forth. And also, given that I actually know where I'm going to be staying next semester a lot earlier than usual. It's going to be in Harrison.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I was thinking about, I'm going to probably be living in Harrison too, because I'm thinking living alone would be the best option for me too. So I totally understand. I'm currently living with 3 other girls in the Heights right now, which I love, and I will stay friends with them even after this, but it's just probably for the best of all of us. You know, there's such a big difference between living with someone and being friends with someone, and I've been an only child my whole life, so I want to live alone. That is what I'm used to. Not to say that I don't have friends or I'm not outgoing, but it really does suck that is like one of the only places on Lemoyne that you can live by yourself.
Yeah, it was one of the only options that I saw on there. And Lily, you said you live in Harrison now. I just wanted to ask, like, what freshman dorm did you live in, and how did it compare? How does it compare to Harrison in general?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, funny you say you live alone, because I live alone in Harrison too. Freshman year, I transferred here sophomore year. I went to Utica University, so I lived in a dorm room there. Last year, I lived in Harrison too, but I would say all the dorms, not that they're the same, they all have that different feel. Definitely, like, what type of differences are you looking, or like?
Well, I was just wondering because I've never seen the dorms in Harrison.
Oh.
Yeah, are they mostly singles? Because it seems
I
like a
know-
lot of people go to Harrison to live in singles.
The first 2 floors are singles, I know.
Okay.
The upstairs floors, some you could live in a singles or built for doubles, but a lot do get
It's
medical.
like the deluxe, or the medicalized singles.
The deluxe, like the kind of like the double room singles. But yes, it's a lot of people who do live in singles or transfer students. I know St. Mary's is newer where you are. I think that's the newest building of the campus. But yes, there's definitely a lot of single rooms, and definitely if you do need accommodations or medical reasons, roommate reasons, the Harrison and the residents living are definitely very, very open and flexible with helping you accommodate needs for a single room to whoever feels like they need a space where they could be alone.
Yeah.
Okay. And Rick, you wanted to say something? Or?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I was about to say Lemoyne is a largely commuting community, so I kind of wanted to touch upon that aspect of Lemoyne.
My whole view though is that the reason I'm commuting is because I live only like 5 minutes down. I live 5 minutes down the road. I don't really need to like spend all the money to be like on campus
Yeah.
or be in a dorm. I don't really need it. I prefer my privacy. I prefer being at home, and my parents are at an age where I need to kind of
Take care of them.
be there with them, so
Yeah.
I don't have to be there. I have 2 dogs, and my current dog is not doing so well, and I have to take care of them. So I'm not the much. I'm not that much against the whole.
Living on campus.
I totally get why people would like it.
Yeah.
I totally get it. My only issue I've seen with those dorms, specifically some, is that it's too cramped. It's like you won't have that
Yeah.
much privacy to like.
Yeah,
work.
no,
And
there definitely is. Like,
there's
no
certain ones
privacy.
there's certain ones where it's like there's 2 beds and it's like you really even have enough room to work and do stuff. You only have like the small desk, and
But like on the other side of that, I feel like that in and of itself is a whole different experience, because the very first semester I had basically what you just explained. It was a tiny little cubicle with one other roommate. We had a shared bathroom. It absolutely sucked. Half
Yeah.
the time the water would take forever to get hot. But it was an experience. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
I can't really speak too much about it, because then my second semester I was able to move into a triple,
Mhm.
which at least had its own bathroom. But I feel like going back into a dorm hall next year, like back into Harrison,
Mhm.
I'm dreading it. And if
Yeah.
I lived close by, I would totally do it. And I was even thinking about trying to, find a way to live off campus in an
Yeah.
apartment, but I just can't do that, on top of especially the fact that I'm going to study abroad in the spring. I'd be looking for an apartment to lease for rent for like 4 months.
The other thing is that when I used to be a commuter, like when I used to go to OCC,
Yeah.
that commuting from where I lived up to maybe OCC's
Mm-hmm.
took me I'd say maybe forever to get to, because of
Like 20,
traffic.
30 or...
Yeah, traffic, going through the highway just to get into OCC.
Yeah.
And then my dad found Le Moyne. We let's transfer there so
Yeah.
I can be more closer. My dad doesn't have to worry about like always having to drive up to OCC to grab me. He
Yeah.
could just come up 5 minutes and park somewhere to grab me and stuff like that, take
Yeah.
me home. And the other things is that during, and I've heard, is like during summers,
Mm-hmm.
it can get humid as hell in those dorms, and it's like I'd rather
Yeah.
not be in those, and I'd rather be in a place that has air conditioning, which with Dietz, who's doing the construction, or renovating I should actually say, I'm hoping that those dorms get the proper air
Me too.
conditioning, because I just don't see those things like being
Yeah, and
well
it
lived
makes-
in. And even during wintertime, especially with what's going on with the winter snow that's outside, heating would not be good. And, like the heat's probably not that well, like all the way up to it.
Well,
up
no,
to
the heating is completely fine, and I
Okay.
love the heating. That's so nice. In fact, sometimes it can get too hot, but at
Yeah.
least in my apartment, I can control the thermostat up to that point. But for the
Mhm.
air conditioning, like the lowest setting you can even set it to, I think, is like 63. But like in the summer, like you were talking about, it
Mhm.
feels like it's horrible. And
Mhm.
for the amount of money that Le Moyne charges for tuition, you would think that they would implement like some air conditioning into the rooms, but it's okay. It's only for like 2 months or 2 weeks. I don't even know. Honestly, it's like a fever dream to me, literally. It's
Yeah.
like hell, basically. But at
Well,
least the academic halls are air conditioned.
Well, some of the rooms are.
Some of the rooms, okay, yeah.
Some of them aren't.
Mitchell.
But what I was trying
I'm
to-
thinking about back at a freshman when I was staying in Nelligan, and then I'm thinking about right now when I'm in the Heights, and both of them.
Yeah, and it's like, and I got told from a friend that like those study halls that are in like the library, even the rooms you can get,
Yeah.
some don't even have their heater thing doesn't even work.
Well, luckily we live in Syracuse, where most of the time it is, or when it isn't snowing, it's still pretty cold.
Yeah.
If it was like a school in Florida, then we'd have a bigger issue.
Problems.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no. But for sure. Ricky, specifically about commuting, I feel like a big issue with Lemoyne's student body being like majority or like a lot of people are commuters. You are very involved in the school and you are part of LCTV. He is our secretary. And how do you find that commuting makes it harder to connect with people? Because like that's kind of how I perceive it, at least when you are living on Lemoyne, you know.
If it's like involve a club day, then I'll just let my dad know that I'm staying back. And if it's not, it doesn't take me that long to get here. It's about 5 minutes actually to make it 8-ish because
of the snow.
Because of snow, because
Yeah.
going through that snow is a little bit much. I would say it's easier for me if it's like we don't have a club day, I don't need a show. It's easier for me when if like a teacher says, "Oh, we're doing virtual," I just stay home and mostly do my class from there and not have to worry about like needing to leave the house or something like that.
So with that being said, how do you think Lemoyne could, make their student body more involved, be more on campus? Because it is a smaller school and it is easy to walk around and go to A to B within like a 5-minute walk maybe, but it seems like on the weekends, like it's just so dead. And like, it is winter and no one's going to be outside, but like, how do you think like some ways that Lemoyne could involve their student body? And this goes to everyone.
Well, I don't know if this is a new thing, but the campus like bar thing that James Commons has, they do happy hour on like Thursdays. Is that a new thing or?
I don't think that's a new thing, but I do think that that's more targeted towards
people
like Lemoyne alums.
Who are that age.
Well, yeah, 21 and over, obviously, but also I think it's targeted more towards alums. They host a lot of business meetings and conferences in the bar. I know like half the time that I go up to Campus Life, the bar's always closed. So I wasn't aware of that Thursday night thing.
They started putting it in recently.
Yeah,
in
one
like
of those
in the new where they put the flyer, the smart board they have in the dining hall.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Kara was talking about. Were you talking about? Was that the thing with the posters? The posters, the whiteboard. In Campus Life.
Yeah.
Big posters that we wanted to get LCTV on. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'd argue about the whole the whole dead thing you said about on the weekends. I notice that a lot now because I work at Airmark, it's like every weekend it'd be like around 5, 6, or maybe 7. I mean, 5 to 6. It'd be the most like a few people would show up, and then 6 p.m. it'd be like it'd be like very little people would show up, and it'd be like very little people would be coming to eat at the time we usually have for Airmark, and it's like
Airmark, what is that?
The dining hall, I should actually say, sorry, the people I work under.
Yeah, no, the dining hall absolutely sucks. I hate the dining hall. No offense, Ricky.
Oh, okay.
I don't think, are you making the food?
Oh, man.
No, I don't make the food.
Good.
I just restock. I just restock. I don't really.
Yes or no?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen you around there before. What I was going to mention about happy hour is maybe move it to like Saturday or Friday, like a more active day than a Thursday.
I agree.
Like it just seems arbitrarily put there.
But we can't do that towards students. We can't even target that event.
They do have mocktails. They do have mocktails. I went there once just to see what it was like, and they do have
like a Shirley Temple.
Yes, they do have that, and they do have pretzels, which
nice.
It's nothing huge, but it's not a huge place.
There. Okay, let's move on to our next topic. I know that we had some interest in education and the way that Gen Z has changed things in education. So, let's turn over there.
Well, yeah. So, I work with this club called Diverse Abilities that works with a local high school called East Syracuse Manoa, and it's a program where I don't want to say send, but they have their high schoolers who are of ages 19 to 21 or 22, I should say, that's a new law, that are obligated to stay in high school due to certain disabilities that they have.
Yeah.
And I work very closely with that club because my mom is a TA.
My mom's an OT, so she works with people with
that's
special
very
needs.
nice. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. And for like what I have seen from the e-board of that club is just remarkable. There is a level of inclusion that I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know that I don't know if other generations can like match that sort of
I do agree.
thing. Yeah.
I agree. I feel like there's just a lot more awareness of people with either special needs or accommodations or what have you, where I just feel like we're kind of moving more into a more accepting generation, and I love to see it. Like, I love to see the changes from when my grandparents were young, you know, like they would say like, oh, you would never see that, never do that, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, but that didn't mean that the people didn't exist. They just weren't, they didn't feel included. And I was also part of a club called Best Buddies in high school where we took time out of our day and just hung out with people who maybe like had autism or like Down syndrome or, you know, what have you. And we just played games with them and just hang out because I feel like a lot of people like just don't like realize, like they'll like look at them weird or like just like, you know.
Yeah, and it hits even closer to me because I was one of them.
Yeah.
I was one of them. I was autistic. I am autistic. Sorry. I was diagnosed at an early age, and
Yeah.
I had friends.
But
I
it's
had
like, yeah.
I had like neurotypical friends. At least they weren't diagnosed. Some of them.
Yeah.
some of them, and probably never mind.
Anyways,
I mean, I
like,
had them. I had those friends, but
Yeah.
most of the time with people
are mean. People
Yeah.
are like
Yeah.
rude and they just judge and they don't really like, they're like, oh, like, look at that person sitting alone at the table, and it's like, why don't you sit with them?
Be the
See, it's
person.
a
Be the
Hands
person.
up. Yeah, like be the
Actually.
person.
Exactly.
Right.
Like, people are people, humans are humans. Like,
Yeah, that did happen with a few friends of mine at the school I went to, but there's actually like another version of that where it's like kind of the opposite, where people would say, "Hey, hi" to me, but it was in like that a sort of patronizing, sort of like high
like
pitched sort of
out of pity or like,
it sounded something like that.
yeah.
Most of them probably didn't realize that I felt it was that way.
Yeah.
They were saying like, oh, let's include this person.
Yeah.
But it didn't seem, you weren't talking to me as if you were talking to a friend of yours.
Yeah.
You were talking to me as if you were on another level.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
you were superior and like they were just like,
Yeah, a little bit, and I'm sure they didn't mean it that way.
Yeah.
Most of them probably, but
People
it just
just
came off
assume.
that way.
yeah.
And coming from like I like even now seeing how much people have more of a, I'd say so much of an opening view.
Yeah.
It showed me like, because I come from like when like I'm diagnosed as well and I have autism, and I've always been always picked on for how I look and how I act and stuff like that. And now seeing how people now treat people with disabilities, it's so much of a change that I've been happy for that, because
Yeah.
you don't need to pick on someone for their special needs. It's
Exactly.
cruel.
There's
It's
nothing you
it's
can
it's
change about it. You were born like that.
it's cruel.
like-
It's up. It's so
Are we
sorry.
allowed to swear on this?
No,
Nope.
sorry, my fault. It's so out of. It's so weird.
It's so messed up.
yeah.
But yeah. Okay. And Lily,
I would have to say, in high school, actually, I was the president of a club where it was called Spartan the Spartan because it was the school mascot, but it's helping people with disabilities or people who feel like they're outcasts feel accepted, and just to actually be a part of something, to be genuine, shows great morals and a great, like, do the right thing even when no one's watching. Like, don't just be a part of, don't ever join something just for your image or just to show off. Do something not expecting a reward. Do something because it made someone happy. And I would just have to say, with this generation, I like that in schools people are a lot more accepting and they don't care with people who aren't afraid to show their differences, because people used to be so bottled up. Many people, even like my parents' generation, target this generation because they think COVID ruined our work ethic, which they're kind of right. They kind of did. Students definitely did get a lot more laid
They were
back.
able to like kind of half.
They only stayed home.
They could get away with not
Their-
trying as much.
Yeah.
Yes, like they could get away
Half-assed.
with not trying, but just because we got away with not trying, it doesn't mean we were being lazy. We were ultimately surviving change and loss, but we're using loss to be more accepted and to change things in schools, kind of like right now. Like, open to change, and always just remember, you see somebody who looks like they're struggling, or you even see someone who looks like they're happy. You never know what someone's going through until you judge them. So make sure all students are valued.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
even now, like before then, like even during the 2000s, like it was a rough year just to get through. Even now, like after COVID, like I still feel like the whole being at home and doing virtual stuff has just been like, I don't feel up doing virtual. I'd rather just be in person. It's been so much of the staple of always be
Well-
online or
Yeah, so going off of that, like,
Yeah,
what do
yeah.
you think about how social media has kind of changed those kinds of ways? Do you think that social media has kind of helped promote this kind of acceptance? Or, like, what do you think about, like, cancel culture? Like,
Oh,
are
God.
people just too scared to, like, actually say anything too controversial because they might get, yeah.
Look, I'm sorry for interrupting you, Rick. Look, there's good and bad in both of those senses.
With social media?
Yeah, I would say that sometimes, and given how you reacted to her saying the words cancel culture, Rick, I can assume what you're about to say, but sometimes consequences are necessary for what you say online.
Exactly, yeah.
Has it gone too far sometimes? Absolutely. I can't think of examples off rip because there's been a
Right.
lot of them, but there's certainly been times that certain stuff has been a bit overblown.
I do feel like cancel culture has pushed people to try and like have to justify everything that they do, because it's almost like they're walking on eggshells, and it's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to, like, just do the right thing, kind of, don't be racist, don't be, misogynist, don't
Yeah.
like, etc. But you don't need to be like, and I'm not a racist when I say it. Like, you don't need to justify everything you do, and I think that that's kind of stripped away some of people's personality.
Well, sometimes if you do say something like, I'm not a racist, anything you say after that
Yeah, exactly.
is destroyed.
Exactly.
There is no credibility to what you say after that, at least in my view. It may be different for other people, but for me, if you say that, then put a but, and then say what you
Exactly.
are going to say, it sounds worse.
Yeah.
Exactly. I would have to say, too, another thing with cancel culture is people don't realize the difference between cancel culture and miscommunication, that there are certain things that need to be canceled, yes, and there's other things that don't necessarily need to be canceled. People just kind of take it too far, where
They misinterpret it.
yes, miscommunication.
or the smallest thing, or they do it over like the smallest microscopic
Yes.
thing in the world that someone said or someone put a picture up of something, and it's like and then people are starting to rant about, oh, you said this and this, and it's like, and then you look through the old tweets, and it's like, okay, and it's like, there's a part where cancel culture to me where it's like, when you start to look, like, I've always said that comedians are the best, but it's like, you can't go at them for making jokes. It's their job the whole time. And it's like, when they go too far, it's like, what do you expect? They're comedians.
Well, there's a line with that, I'd say, where if it's funny, it doesn't really matter what they say. If it's not, then the point they're making is somewhat magnified, and and it comes across not as a joke but as an opinion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I would have to say too, that and like making sure what jokes are factual and what jokes aren't, because some people actually see something that's blatantly being offensive or racist or antagonistic, and they'll not see it for what it is. They'll think the person's joking, they'll think it was blown out of proportion, they'll think they're being funny, but they have to also look at the background of the story and what the message is more than the joke, like what the message is behind, because misinformation's either blown out of proportion or misinformation could be a disease, and that's how things could be ruined.
I mean, you said could be, it is.
It is,
It
yes,
really,
it's a disease.
really is.
And do you think social media has kind of helped that or hurt it?
No, I
Helped.
think it's hurt
I think it's hurt it. I think it's hurt it.
I think
I mean, our whole job is like LCTV. Like, we love to produce and we love to be on camera, and like, so I feel like those kinds of aspects, you know, it's not super black and white, and I think that negative aspect of it is kind of, I don't know, just to kind of play devil's advocate.
Well, it's pretty dark gray then. If it's not black and white, it is.
Dark gray.
Yes, it is dark gray then, because there are some good aspects, obviously. People have more of a reach, people have more access to information, but they also have more access to wrong information.
It's true.
And
What are your opinions on AI?
No.
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 Expand.
No, in general, probably not.
I am very scared of AI. I'm just going to do my little soapbox right now. I think that there really isn't anything good with AI. I think it's scary. If you read articles, the creators of AI have even explained that at this point, they themselves don't even know what AI is capable of. And if that's not scary enough, then like,
I don't know what it is.
like stop. Like,
yeah.
we need to stop producing. We need to stop. Like, we need to start establishing laws and regulations for AI before we even continue expanding on that kind of technology. You can say all the good things about ChatGPT. You can argue about all of that, but you know, I do think that that's the biggest factor into the increase of misinformation and bias, as well as, you know, I just think that students have just become so lazy.
Yeah, and I've noticed it in, like, I have an earth science class that mostly is like, I'd say stripped down to like mostly using notebook and that, and writing down notes and stuff like that for when we do like lectures. And he's mentioned stuff about like, don't use ChatGPT, please don't use ChatGPT. And it's like, and then
because Moyne has like a no ChatGPT.
And then one day, and then
policy.
the next
They
day,
actually don't. They don't have a school-wide policy. Most
teachers,
most professors
No,
will
because I
make
do
it
have
clear,
one
make it
business
clear.
professor that like said he's okay with it, just, you know, be transparent about it, because I do think that at the end of the day, if we're going to have access to these kinds of tools,
people are going to use
people are going to use them, so why not teach people how to utilize them to not get misinformation?
The librarian taught me, showed us a place called I forget how to say it.
Well, maybe it's better that you forgot.
Conscience. It's Conscience, but it's all,
AI is bad.
well, it's articles that also show links to the original articles by the science or the person that was studying it or researching it. And
Well,
stuff like
most
that.
people should probably just click on the articles first, and not that there's not good information in the AI-generated thing, but I feel like you would probably want to go to the articles first to see if go to the articles first and then maybe look at the AI thing if it's like a layman's term summary of it. I think that's one of the very few uses of AI generated writing that's somewhat acceptable.
Yeah. I guess with that, then what kind of, like, I personally use ChatGPT to help me organize my notes prior to the fact. If I get something really confused, it does help to simplify it. But if I find, like, any reasonable person can look at some information and be like, this doesn't sound right, and just do more research on it if you don't think it's correct.
I don't
Destiny, I'm going to turn it over to Destiny. Let's hear her thoughts. Oh,
Oops.
let's hear her thoughts.
Let's hear it.
Yeah.
Everybody. So we asked the viewers, what are your thoughts on AI? We have a couple agreements, couple disagreements. But overall, it's kind of the disagreement side because they think it's a little overpowering, and you don't know what you can get while using it. So, yeah. So we got so far.
Okay, thank you, viewers. If you have any other questions or comments, please don't forget to share them. Destiny will be popping in and out to share your guys' thoughts and be your guys' spokesperson. With that, let's move on because I think we have spoken enough on AI. Let's hear some personal funny stories, maybe some college horror stories. If you don't want to share names, please don't. We are live. But
Name drop.
please don't do that. But if you have any funny stories or anything, let's hear them.
Well, I'll go first on this one, and this was before college, and the Moyne class of '28 had a Snapchat group chat just to like introduce people.
Lemoyne?
Like Lemoyne did,
Okay.
yeah. Lemoyne did. It wasn't official or anything. It was just a group stuff that people did, and one person there who was very outgoing, and they probably didn't mean it in any sort of
Way. But yeah, what did they say?
bad way. Hey, but they gave me, again, my name is David. This matters for the story. They gave me the nickname of Davy, and like I was talking about earlier, I thought it was in that sort of patronizing sort of way.
Davy?
Davy, D-A-V-E-Y.
And where did you take it as, like, they were trying to give you, like, a
No,
female name?
Well, no. I just didn't like the name for
Yeah.
myself, and I said to them in the group chat, like, "Hey,
Don't call me that.
I know you don't mean it in a negative way, but please don't call me that." And what they responded with was, "But it's my nickname for you," and not.
Oh, hell
No. And I don't think I said anything after that. But what I was thinking was, why would that matter? I just met you. I don't know who the hell you are. And I don't care all that much about you.
I would have been like, okay, and then I'll give you a name, and then just, like, be at the end of that. Like,
Yeah.
I can't think of any names right now.
Yeah. And now they're
You
on the
didn't- you
same
didn't.
floor as me in St. Mary's.
Oh, no. This is what you gotta do.
And they,
No, you did no names, but this is what you gotta do. You gotta poop, and then you gotta put it on by their door. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. We're not advocating this.
Yes, we
Oh.
I'm not. But yeah, that was my
Okay,
my thing.
I'm gonna disclaim this right now. I do not think anyone should poop and put it at someone's doorstep. It was a joke.
God, this'll put
I'm
viewers
just
in.
imagining like my professors and stuff watching me. And
Oh.
I'm just like, hey, I saw you on your.
Well,
On TV.
Okay.
we'll go kick
With
it.
that, we're gonna go back to Destiny because we got someone has something to say.
Please take the disclaimers so heavily. Please. That's all I gotta say.
Oh.
Um,
Oh.
just yeah. We just got another comment from the AI thought. Just to backtrack that, it says AI is great if used right. Yeah, just to backtrack.
I do agree
Well,
with that.
most
I
things
agree
are
too.
great if
I
used
agree.
right.
Yeah.
We just
Yeah,
don't know what
everything is
used
good
right
when used in
is.
moderation. That being said, that doesn't mean that students aren't using it smartly, especially now that teachers and everyone has gotten smarter.
Yeah.
They'll use like Turnitin, they'll use the AI detectors. Like at this point, students would be dumb to use it
Yeah.
completely
I've noticed
for
yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I notice people like in my earth science class. There's one I'm not gonna say there's one girl that sits like in front of I think the
Don't describe that much.
I'm not. She uses. I look closely at her laptop. I see ChatGPT
She sits
like
right over there,
no,
second seat
yeah,
to the right.
She has ChatGPT open, and it's like we know
Mm.
what you're typing in, and it's like, and I get that people use it for like to better a sentence, but it's like you're still gonna get like words that you're not using to write your essay or write your notes.
Yeah, and aside even from school use, I am so terrified of AI because of like the increase in technology and like that they're developing like generative AI and then it's going to become super AI and I am genuinely scared. I know Stefan and I were talking about how Siri's going to take over the world. I 100% agree. I am really scared. I don't like self-driving cars. I don't like anything that strips humans
Humanity.
of their humanity of their autonomy. There's a certain degree where things become destructive and when they're helpful. And I think maybe like Siri and like the early forms and like, you know, just even like a Google search engine was like helpful, but at this point it's just becoming destructive of our autonomy where like now are humans not going to have to take driving tests because they can't drive, or are humans not going to be able to even form a sentence because AI will write it for them? Like I don't think that, I think it's getting taken too far, but of course the companies are going to continue to develop it because it's making them money.
Yeah, look, enough people are rejecting the idea of self-driving cars that I don't think there's going to be a world where there's going to be no drivable cars.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I
definitely.
100% disagree.
Oh, really?
What?
I see in the future like everyone
Well, not when
Like
we're
Elon
alive.
type
like I think
cars.
that like when I imagine it, I see like people with like contacts where they're able, like a Black Mirror episode where
Oh,
they're able
yeah.
to like see and like follow people on Instagram while just like casually walking by, and then like they lack any skills to even communicate and like interact with people in real life. And like who's to say that people are going to be able to drive? Like that I think humans are becoming more and more lazy.
Definitely.
And
And especially with like the what is it? The Tesla models that
Yeah.
can do that. It's like
That's just like scary.
it's at this point it's very scary, and it's like I wouldn't be surprised if there's gonna be more to be put out of those type of cars where it's just like you can't drive. It's all auto, and some of it like the fact that it can just drive on its own. It just like there's gonna be times where it will malfunction or break down or have really bad issues with it running or something like that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
not to say
yeah.
that like semi self-driving cars aren't good.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you know, even when they they beep at you because you're getting too close to the lines.
Mhm.
But that's beside the point. I mean, like,
Yeah.
what were you gonna say?
Yeah. So it's pretty similar to like autopilot on an airplane.
Yeah.
You know how planes can technically fly themselves. But someone, and I was watching, said this very, very good line, and that certainly encapsulates a lot of this. Would you get a plane on with no pilot?
Yeah, no.
No.
Exactly. That's why that's why drivable cars will not.
Yeah, but do you think that they're just going to be on their phones, not paying attention because now their car is driving
Well,
themselves?
well,
I don't.
yeah.
I think that they might be in the driver's seat, but they are not present in the moment.
Yeah.
I think what's scary too is like there's flying cars. You get a person who
There
like people I know, somebody who's like 90 and they'll be all confused. They can't drive. They'll be like, take me to
I do
Kitty
think it
Hoynes
is
in
helpful, yeah.
Syracuse to GPS will say like Kitty Hoynes in Ireland. They
Yeah.
go all the way to Ireland and not even know where they're going. They need to drive. They can't stop themselves. I think
No.
that's a big concern.
Yeah, but I mean, I do like that you hit upon the older generation. I do think that there is also a big debate on if older people should be retested because of their driving capabilities. I mean, it does take away some what's it called?
Autonomy.
Yeah, basically, like, they just can't do it. It's, like, kind of debilitating, and so, like, self-driving cars could allow them to just be able to have some more, like,
Yeah.
self-respect or whatever you wanna say.
And then it, like the amount of times I see people
can't drive.
see like people on their phone and not like and
Paying attention,
driving in front, like driving while they're texting. It just like that causes so much like crash it, like so much like
Yeah, so many accidents.
yeah.
I mean, I do like the way that we're going towards more eco-friendly cars, though.
That
like
is a good
thing.
without like
Yeah.
the electric and the gas cars. I do like that. I think that this generation as a whole has been better at being mindful. You know, this is our planet. This is where we're living. Let's not destroy it. I think with older generations, they kind of
And so
don't care.
Well, it wasn't as publicly well known
Yeah.
that global warming.
Well,
was
no, it was. People were just putting it under the rug.
Well,
like,
yeah, in like the 50s or something.
yeah, yeah.
There were technically bigger things to worry about.
I think, yeah, as
but
we
there
get
probably
closer.
aren't now.
even like solar panels are now making a big, like I say, rise now with the solar panels being used for some electricity and being used for a better source for electricity as well.
Yeah,
in
no,
some
I'm
place.
all for eco-friendly like alternatives for like solar power, anything like that. You know, I'm a big advocate because I love our animals and I don't want any of them to go extinct. And you know, I'd rather not have winter in literally like March, April. You know. But with that being said, I am going to thank you guys for your time. Do you guys have any final messages for the audience? No?
Stay warm and stay safe because
Yes.
of
Yes, and thank you for tuning in to watch. This has been Back on the Heights, hosted by LCTV, and we'll hopefully see you very soon with another live stream.
Thank you for watching. Watch again. Hope to see you all again.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.